Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today is March 3rd, 2021, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange reaches to new record highs yesterday as the minor stocks push the index higher. Now, there's no major economic events scheduled for today, but as we look at the various markets, starting out with currencies, the British pound and the euro both bounce after a 3-day losing streak. And looking at the indices, the NASDAQ remaining somewhat weak, while the Dow Jones remaining somewhat strong. Okay, looking at commodities, gold trading lower, while oil still bounces. And looking at the stock market, it's pretty much a mixed bag. While we're watching Alcoa trade to new record highs, while the technology sector really continued to slump. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, trading higher after a little bit of a bounce yesterday. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to take a look here at the GBP USD as we look at the daily. Now, for now, we've set ourselves a stop, okay, a relatively support level, at this 138.50-ish level as we retrace. So this is a daily chart, so you got to look at it. Look at that 3-day retracement, okay? That is generally the case when you have a 3-day retracement, and then you usually have a bounce after that third day. Generally speaking, okay, this is one of those type of rules that is a technical rule, a 3-day drop and then a rally to the upside. Well, we'll call it a bounce, not really a rally. But for now, we found some footing on the bottom of the chart here. Now, looking at the euro, also bouncing here after that retracement down to 2026. And we're trading at 2081. Not a big bounce, but relatively a decent bounce for a 1-day trade of 60 pips. Now, looking at the USD ZAR, okay, nothing really happening with the Rand, which I thought this would have gotten a little bit weaker, okay, as the JSC makes new record highs. But you see it's pretty much unchanged here. We're going to jump to the commodities first, looking at gold, trading lower at the 1722-ish level. Okay, now to really give us a status of this, okay, nothing to really write home about until we look at a weekly chart. Okay, there we go, that's a weekly chart. And if we look at this, we had a previous resistance level at this 1700 and we just bounced off of that. We're right now trading at 1732, so a little bit more of a bounce there, but I do still see weakness in gold going into this particular trading session today. Okay, now it is a 3-day. Today would be that third day with that retracement. Okay, so I do expect a little bit of a bounce. Maybe we'll get that later today. However, looking at oil, we seem to have found some footing at this $60 mark. Okay, $60 psychologically is a very important number. Now, there are some concerns that oil may still reach $100 by the end of the summer. Okay, it's a exaggerated number, but remember, we've had a ridiculous year when it comes to oil. Now, the markets are still not operating at 100% in terms of transportation, in terms of international transportation. So you're seeing the price of oil just reflect the market right now with not 100% being open. Okay, so at $60, it makes sense. Okay, so if the markets were to reopen at about 100% capacity, then I would expect it to be much higher. Okay, so that is something of note. Now, at that point, maybe OPEC will change their production levels. Could be. Okay, but you see that there is some continued buying and there's some continued volatility at these areas, as there's a lot of choppiness in this area and a lot of push between what's going higher and what's going lower. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, before we get to the JSC, the Dow Jones had a decent day yesterday, okay, but altogether a very choppy day, okay. We traded as high up as 567 and then traded as low as 386, and right now we're in somewhat of the middle range of that, okay, just high trading at that. Now, looking at the individual stocks, it was Alcoa that took us higher. Look at that, 27.45 to our all-time highs for the year. Okay, it hit that high of 27.65. So today's really a telling sign. JP Morgan retraced a little bit to, $150. So you see the stocks are reflective of the index. Okay, however, when we look at the NASDAQ, we saw that actually pummeled yesterday to 13,000. Okay, now I do expect a bounce in the technology sector, as this is happening before the stocks are bouncing. But I have to look into that today. We're going to jump into the technology sector stocks. Look at Apple, was down for the day. If we look at Facebook, also down for the day, 257. But again, Microsoft also down for the day, and also Amazon was down for the day. Okay, so when we looked at the sector across the board, we saw everything sold off. Okay, so it's very selective. Now, I expect this choppiness to continue. I mean, look at this. We've been trading in a range since August for Amazon. Okay, hasn't gone higher, but hasn't gone lower either. Okay, so when these particular stocks look to break out of this range, that's when you know you need to get more aggressive with your trading. Okay, now jumping lastly, or second to last, Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Look at that, to record highs at 63,498. Now at these levels, we can continue higher, okay, because this is record highs, okay? If we look at a monthly chart, look at that. I mean, once we broke that 52,441 back in December, okay, this has really just continued us higher. Okay, so this is really a very, very important level to break as we're making these corrections on the upside. Now, I do expect some choppiness to continue here, so just be aware of it. Okay, just trade really responsibly, because, you know, although we are hitting record highs, it might not give us that pullback in order to jump in on the long side. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, a bounce at 49,617. Okay, we finally got that bounce where we were trading right in between. If we look at a daily chart, we were almost right in between that 50,000 and 39,000 ish level. Okay, well, right at that 30-day moving average. Now we broke above it, and we are hitting a little bit of a resistance of 50,000 right now as we are looking to break out higher. Okay, so continuation on Bitcoin, it's still bullish. Okay, just be very careful as we're hitting this top of this range. Okay, especially since we're going to hit some turbulence as we hit 51,000. This is Fred Razak, and I wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.